Sup, nerd.
All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of SupCast. We got Adam, our resident movie, comic, and superhero geek, and I'd like to
Geek.
think I'm one of them too. Well, nerd is the right word. Let me apologize. So what we'll be covering today is we're doing a mid-season review of Loki because they've just aired, sorry, episode 3 on Wednesday. And we're right halfway through the season because it's going to be 6 episodes. So you've got 3 left. And we had some things we liked and some gripes, and figured we'd talk about them with you.
We're like halfway through, but it doesn't feel like it, man. I don't know. For me, that's my main issue right now with the series. How do you find it so far? I mean, 3.5 way through.
I mean, okay, so I thought episode 1 and 2 started to build up to something strong because it was out of left field. It was something different. Didn't really expect the angle to be involving the TVA and all of that, the time traveling shenanigans. Um, I mean, Tom Hiddleston's just great as Loki, and it's sort of nice to see him more in that role more because he thought it was over when Thanos kind of snapped his neck, right? Um, and yeah, but then I think we'll talk a little bit about it later. But episode 3 is a bit of a letdown, and it can basically, I think at this point, like the series can go one like either way. It could be like end up great. They could have something decent planned, or it could be a disaster.
Yeah. So I mean, because of episode 3, right? We don't know where it's gonna head, and then it's we're kind of like cautious in not a good way. Because like I agree with you for the first 2 episodes. It started strong, and then now with episode 3, we're right in the middle of the whole series. I'm like slightly concerned, to be honest. It does feel like, I don't know, maybe because Wanda was 9, right? 9 episodes. And that was like a good kind of a gauge that we were used to for these kind of like mini series. 8 to
Yeah.
10 was like the sweet spot. And then for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I mean, we did the subcast as well. We spoke about it. It's only 6, so it felt like a super long movie that's cut into like 6 pieces. This I don't know. It had like the feel of a nice series for the first 2 episodes, and then 3
Yeah.
kicked in, and now we're like, what is this? What's happening now? The vibe is like it just threw me off a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, so I guess let's break it down episode by episode, right? So what did you
Sure.
like about the first ep?
Okay, the first app, the tone and this whole new universe that we're being introduced to, the TVA, where that scene sort of like encapsulate what we're feeling as well when Loki found out, like, yeah, Infinity Stones are just like paperweights in this world,
Yeah.
in this universe, in this part of the universe. And I was like, oh wow, we're dealing with something really powerful here. And there's a
Yeah.
lot that we could do with it, and like so many places we could go. So I was super intrigued. I really liked the first episode.
Yeah, and I think I mean the introduction of Owen Wilson as Mobius was just another one of those perfect casting things, right? Like
Yeah,
at this
that
point it
worked
seems
really
like
well.
it feels like they can do no wrong with their casting for their side characters. And like
I'm gonna get there later. Yeah.
mm, but especially with the Mobius role. I mean he kind of just he brings a lot of himself and his other previous roles in it, right? Like just the way his mannerisms and all that. So it felt like the perfect fit for an Owen Wilson character instead
Yeah,
of Owen Wilson trying to force himself into the role of somebody else.
of course. It is Owen Wilson,
Um,
right? I'm kind of surprised that has he said, I don't think so. He hasn't said
he
wow
hasn't said
yet.
wow
So
yet.
yeah, I was just waiting for that moment. He should. He has to. Come on.
I think it's gonna happen at some point, probably
If
when we
not,
see
we're
him
gonna
again.
riot.
Yeah, we're gonna start some trouble on it. But I agree with the idea that it's like, ooh, what the hell is going on? We've got a world that has no Infinity Stones, and it has Infinity Stones with no power. You see the drawer full of them as well, and you're like, the hell is going on? So I think it set like a precedent for just like, oh shit, is there some like new big power out there, or was everything a lie in the movies, right? Which we'll touch on later because it kind of annoys me,
Yeah, I mean,
especially
like
after what happens in episode
they're
3.
definitely introducing Kang, because he's gonna be the big bad for phase 4, right? Onward. So Kang the
Probably.
Conqueror. So Um, they're hinting at that. I'm not that interested in like, I mean, I am interested, but I'm not that crazy about looking forward to like, oh, what's gonna happen next. They should tell like a cohesive story within these 6 episodes, right? But right now, I am kind of lost what they're trying to do, which I'll
Yeah.
get to the minor gripes later as well. But let's maybe we'll just kick off by talking about the elephant in the room, which is Lady Loki or slash Enchantress.
I
How do
don't
you
think
feel
she's
about it?
Enchantress. I don't think she's Enchantress number one, just because you got the get up and stuff, right? But
Dude,
Marvel has sort of,
no, but
but the
she's called Sylvie. Sylvie Lushton is the
yeah,
second Enchantress. So
I know.
it's
So
just
that's what I'm trying to figure out if the name is a play on sort of on the comics character,
I
because she
think
is
it's
a
a
magician. She's got
mix.
mind control. Yeah. So
I think that
I
they're
think they're
mixing it up
amalgamating.
with Lady Loki and Enchantress, like it's an amalgamation of that. So yeah.
Yeah, because Lady Loki was just Loki reborn after Ragnarok in the comics, right?
Yeah, and then she was just
In her
like,
body.
oh, we got a
Yeah.
a body of a woman.
So yeah, and so I thought Lady Loki, the reveal was cool. Like you saw her, and it's kind of like the episode ends real fast.
Yes, that was pretty.
And
Episode two was
then
really good. I really liked episode two as well.
episode two had a lot of tension, right?
Yeah, and
Everything
then
was
it
building up.
felt like that kind of not sure if you're a fan of like the thing that I was writing about the other time, Sandman series. They had that
Mm,
like diner like a comic episode where not
mm,
episode but like issue where it was like kind of a horror vibe. This had
yeah,
that as well. They got a like, thriller horror vibe when they went to the that department store. I really liked that episode, man. And then it was like the tension, like you mentioned, plus a lot of moving stuff, and then it advanced the plot quite a lot. So I really
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I think the other thing I liked about that too was just with the sort of original MCU Loki, or like the variant Loki that's the main character. Like you kind of get the feeling that like there was like a sort of internal monologue whether or not he's gonna do any betrayals or anything. Like he seemed torn the whole episode about what like how he was gonna advance his plot, because he's still got a plot, right? Like he's not doing this help out of the goodness of his heart.
So that this is like maybe a good time to segue into that little minor gripe that I have as well about
Hmm.
Loki. Uh, Overall, though, right? Overall, I think the switch that what they're trying to do happened too fast and too soon. It happened in episode one, where
Yep.
remember this Loki is the one that just got beat by the Avengers, right?
Yep.
He hasn't gone through Thor: Dark World or anything, none of that. He's still that like bad guy working for Thanos, trying to take over the world, to take over
Yeah.
Earth, right? So that moment in the room where Owen Wilson like let him watch his like supposed lifeline, the whole thing until his death, kind of like it changed something in him, yes, but it felt that now they're pushing him as more of a anti-hero, kind of sort of like a good guy, kind of fun, not that self-deprecating like how he was in, Thor Ragnarok yet. So I felt that change was too abrupt and too soon. It wasn't
Because it
earned.
took like well, it took a decade for him to change in the movies before he sacrificed himself, right?
Yeah,
So
so
like that's like
not
four
decade, but
movies. No, a
yeah,
decade, both in the MCU and in sort of real
yeah,
history here,
so
right?
something
Like
like that.
10
Yeah.
years.
So that's why
Because
I felt that the change or what they're trying, the kind of Loki that they're trying to push right now, it felt like the change was too sudden. He should still be that kind of a backstabby, kind of more of a bad guy. And that's
yeah,
what we were expecting because wreaking havoc and all that stuff. Like you saw in the trailers where the president Loki from that famous like comic cover. I'm sure we got 3 more episodes left, so hopefully we
yeah.
could see that because in episode three, the way he was acting was just way too off character for this Loki, this timeline Loki. That's how I feel.
Yeah, so I think so I'm actually hoping that like most of it was an act. If like that would be better than just accepting that he changed after watching a video of him becoming a hero and dying by getting his neck broken. So if he's got some sort of grand scheme or some ploy, I might forgive it a bit more, right? Even though we've already kind of broken that line of believability. But like if it goes back to like, I had this, you know, messed up plan all along, or I had a plan to mess with everybody, fine. You were acting out, including in front of Lady Loki slash Enchantress, right? So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that either. I thought it was too fast. And then you had like that one tear come out, like almost drop from his eye when he read about Ragnarok and all that nonsense.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, I mean, at that point he didn't care about Asgard, right? That timeline Loki like was cast out. He hated everybody. He hated Thor.
yeah.
Um,
So I
so
don't know.
it
Maybe they'll come up with like a good reason why by the end of, but I don't know. Episode 3 again,
yeah,
like threw me off, man. I'm worried about it. I don't know what. So for me, so maybe we'll start talking about episode 3 now. It's a random side mission, like out of nowhere, unless they got big plans to be done on that particular place, right? It just felt like, like in Last Jedi, Canto Bite.
yeah,
Yeah, so Canto Bite.
yeah. That was stupid. That was useless.
So
That was
episode 3 felt like that, and then missing Owen Wilson is like a big thing.
yeah.
Loki was funny, yes. I mean, he's trying to bond with like Sylvie as well, but I don't know. I don't know. It just I don't know what they're gonna. Hopefully, episode 4 is gonna like really wrap it up, because that's like 3 more episodes, man. An hour or less each. So
Yeah. So like logically, just the whole thing didn't play together well for me, right? I mean, sure, he kind of stops her from finalizing the mission of killing the timekeepers and all that, and he mentions he has his own plan and all that. But yeah, suddenly they're just in this shitty planet that's about to die because she hides in apocalypses.
apocalypses, yeah,
Um, I the whole sequence of them getting on the planet, getting on the train, getting thrown out, and then sneaking back in, like it just, why was there an hour of it? And like,
exactly.
and it doesn't answer any of my questions. And so the thing that annoys me the most now is now they're gonna have to set up something crazy for episode 4, because the way the episode ends is the arc is destroyed as it's supposed to be, so they can't get away from this
They can get
apocalypse.
out, yeah.
So now some Deus Ex Machina is gonna have to happen. Some bullshit's gonna happen. Like Owen Wilson's gonna show up for the arrest with a working TemPad, right?
Yeah.
Or
TemPad. That's such a horrible
because,
name, though.
yeah, because they just yeah, because they destroyed their TemPad, right? So then I can't say it's like
I'm so
let's keep a straight
immature. It's
face.
just like, every time I hear it, I'm like,
TemPad.
TemPad. It's like,
Yeah.
God, dude. I won't grow
So
up.
it's I think the biggest gripe with episode 3 was it didn't take the show anywhere, right?
Yeah. And right
It,
now we don't know where, I mean, we don't have an idea of what the story is about now. Like initially it
yeah,
was like, okay, Loki's trying to catch the variant Loki, and then he's still trying to take over. But right now
yeah,
they're just trying to survive now. Like what, I mean, yeah, the sacred timeline's been like fucked already because of like, Lady Loki slash Sylvie's all the bombing with
yeah.
her, like, well, what you call those? The Tempads, and then the other one, like the detonators, like not the detonators. What do you call those again?
The erasers or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
reset thing, right? Reset
Yeah.
charges, all like it's quite a lot. So I don't know. Right now, it just feel like I kind of hate this as well. Usually, like we will have like strong opinions, but now we like agree on almost everything that we don't know what to talk about. I just wanted to like I know this is
I have
ranting right
plenty to talk
now.
about.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I got
like this
plenty
is
to talk about. I
renting
mean,
now. It's in a sense that
yeah.
like we just like what the fuck. Hopefully by the end of it, we'll come back to we can touch on the points that we raised today. Today's gonna be just a
Yeah.
short one. We were just gonna like raise this like
Well, I
we're kind of
mean,
worried now.
I mean, to start off with, so like, yeah, so episode 3 leaves more questions unanswered. So before I get started, I mean, one thing I do like is like, is them leaking out that like, people that work at TVA are actually variants, right?
That was kind of
So,
cool. That was
so,
just a
I, so,
little like huh?
but I think, okay, so how do I put this all together? I mean, first of all, I think it answers that maybe the TVA isn't an all-powerful authority, right? It's they might just be a faction. And the thing that annoys me is is because like over the first two episodes, like I was kind of like with all the TVA stuff and Infinity Stones being useless, I was like, did you just say the last 12 years of MCU was like all bullshit, right? Because there's plenty of things. One, it's like the Infinity Stones were supposed to be some of the most powerful and
Yep.
like sources, no, the greatest sources of power in the universe. Things like if there's only one sacred timeline, then how the hell did Doctor Strange look at 14 million, but 605, whatever it is, timelines to find the one that they win? Because they mentioned in episode one that the Avengers were supposed
Supposed
to
to
go
like
back in
go
time
back in
and mess
time
with
and
it,
everything.
right?
Yeah, yeah, that was supposed to happen.
And then it sort of makes you wonder, is like, is there a multiverse or no, or is it or is like, and how is it that there's no magic and there's no Infinity Stones in
Yeah,
in
so
the TVA?
that point though, like TVA, even if you say like it's not the greatest power of the universe, but they do have a certain type of power because um it's not just Loki's magic, right? Everybody's like magic, it doesn't work inside the TVA. Plus, Loki had the Tesseract. That wasn't a fake one, that was a real one. But once he
Yeah.
got into TVA, that Tesseract was just like you see the light like dimmed. I'm not sure
Yep.
if you caught it like in episode one
I
when
caught it.
they
I caught it right away. It was like it was dark.
like it's like huh it's like so
Yeah.
there's something going on there that they do have power.
So no, but see, like I'm gonna theory craft and say that it's probably actually part like that. There where they are is probably part of a multiverse. Like it might be like a pocket dimension where shit just doesn't work,
Huh.
right? Where the timekeepers there are sort of the power, like hold power, and they might be afraid of letting things go different in the other timelines because they're supposed like somebody stronger might show up, somebody that might beat them
Right.
might show up. Um, so it's again, it's now I'm unclear again on which one is true. Is it that there was only one sacred timeline, or is it that most of the things that they're being told at the TVA were half truths, right? Which is probably the
Yeah,
thing.
because they're supposed
So
to
that
be variants, right? They're all variants, but they don't
yeah,
know
if
it.
they're all no, if they're all variants, then that means they're not supposed. Yeah, so they're like they're supposed to destroy the variants, right? That's the for most of the time they're
Most
not
of the
rescuing a
time.
lot of these variants, right? But if everybody there is a
Resets.
variant,
Yeah.
yeah, but if everybody there is a variant, that means they're getting their minds wiped too.
Huh.
Like because that Sylvie, was messing with in the bar illusion, right? Was from Earth. And then the other one was Owen Wilson could be a variant of somebody else, and maybe that's why he's got the jet ski obsession, right? Um so I need, yeah, so these are the questions I need to understand. And then how does this all tie into the next Doctor Strange movie, which also bothers me because that's called the Multiverse of Madness.
I
So
mean,
is Loki
Marvel's
going to do something by the end of this that sets off that
I
multiverse?
think so as well. Like Marvel's heading toward that like direction. You got like Spider-Man also going to be like involving all the
Far From
other,
Home, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like Spider-Mans and all that stuff. Like No Way Home,
Well,
No
not
Way
Far
Home,
From Home, No Way Home, yeah,
No
yeah,
Way
yeah.
Home. Yeah. So
No, so,
I don't
and then how does
know. It's
Wanda fit
just
into this? Because Wanda now has to fit into this because she's going to be involved with the multiverse. Because at the end of that series, you hear her kids call out to her again, and she
yeah.
opens her
So
eyes.
she's
So
gonna go
she's going to
back and try
open, yeah,
to get the kids right.
either go back
She's
try to
gonna
get the kids,
appear.
or she's gonna open another multiverse because she's a Nexus being, right? And they mention Nexus beings as well.
Yes, and she's also going to be in Doctor Strange too. So she's
No,
definitely
see,
got
I
like a
know that.
big.
So that's why I'm saying that I need answers to all this now because they all have to tie in now because
I
it's
need
it's a
answers. God damn it!
no, because it's a long setup now to Doctor Strange 2. That's what's happening with Wanda in this show.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's what they're doing because they need
yeah,
like the a proper setup for the next phase, like not just phase four, like to be 5 and 6 as well. I mean, Marvel does set up a lot. I mean, we were still waiting for that Adam Warlock, like what, 4 years now, something like that. When James
and we
Gunn's
shall
gonna come
call
back, he's
him
gonna do
Adam.
Guardians like 3. So yeah,
Well, yeah, he's doing Guardians 3, and that's it for him, right? He said he's done with Guardians 3, Guardians after that, from something I read a few months ago.
I
So if
mean,
that
Love
means
and
that
Thunder is
means
gonna
hope
be interesting as well. So
that one I can't wait for. So
it'll
that
be
should be
fun.
good. But that
So
seems like that seems to be another multiverse thing, right? Um,
I
so
mean, Jane is not like, I mean, spoiler alert, who those who haven't like read the comic. When Jane became Thor, it was not a multiverse, it's still part of the main
yeah,
universe. So I don't know. Who do you think are the timekeepers? I don't think that it's like the three of them. Initially, I was like, could it be like Owen Wilson and a Gugu's character? I forgot the character's name. I just remember as Gugu,
Yeah.
the judge.
Yeah.
He's pretty cute, by the way. Yeah,
I don't know. Like I'm pretty torn. So I think the timekeepers, they're called the timekeepers, right?
the timekeepers.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. I yeah, I'm not sure if there's only three of them and if they're
maybe just
lizards and
one.
whatnot.
The lizards.
That's what Loki called them, I think, in episode one, right? Um, I I don't know. It's hard to throw a theory because it's too early for it to be just one person and that be Kang, who's kind of just mixing and playing with timelines.
I don't think they'll
Uh,
show Kang though in this series.
yeah,
Maybe they'll tease, but I don't think they'll show
yeah,
anything. Maybe for uh Doctor Strange. I think that's where we'll see
yeah,
him first time. Even though it's already been cast, but oh
yeah. But
well
I don't know.
what do you feel about the whole like Loki being gender fluid thing?
I don't care. I mean, I there was a huge kerfuffle on the
I don't
interwebs,
mind,
right?
but it's just like it's nothing like big. I don't know. Maybe it's
I
like
don't
the
care. It's because I mean, to me, Loki felt like a character that would be bi. Like he
yeah,
just
he would bang
because
anybody, alien,
he
like
no, because he's supposed to
female.
be mischievous. He's a
Yeah.
drunkard, and he's a giant. He's all sorts of weird. So like being bi would be the one thing that's like not even weird about him, right? That's
Yeah,
just
it's,
him
it's
being him.
totally not weird about it at all.
Like
I mean,
because he's so weird about everything else and he's so crazy. It's just like that. I liked how they dealt with it, actually, to be honest, in terms of like they just like when she just mentions men, women,
like
probably same
prince
as you, and he's
or
like,
like
yeah,
princess
and he's
or prince.
or print, and
Yeah,
he's just like
yeah.
a bit of
Bit of
both.
both. Yeah, it's good. I
So
like it. I like it.
I don't see the giant issue unless you're the
It's not an
bloody
issue, but a
morality.
lot of people were like
It's an issue for
celebrating it.
people.
No, no,
I mean,
like a
people
lot
are.
of people were celebrating it.
I mean, if it makes people happy, it makes people happy. But for me, like personally, like it just doesn't affect me.
Right.
Like I'm just like, okay, so this character's bisexual. I'm over it.
Totally cool
Like
with
it's
it.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's it doesn't bother and it doesn't me or it doesn't make me happy. Like I'm just
Yeah.
like, fine, that's what you're doing with the character.
That's totally cool with
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun to hear him like sing and say
In
like oh like
Asgardian. Yeah.
Asgardian like the little like him. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. You kind of saw another glimpse of how much he actually really loved Frigga, right? Like his mom
Yeah.
Odin's wife.
Yep.
Because I think he's a good enough actor that he's actually able to show the change in emotion as soon as she asks about his mother and he tells
Yes.
stories about her, right? He's a bit less like there's less bravado, he's less
Yeah,
boisterous.
because I mean that one I buy as well because it Thor Dark World, right?
Dark World, like
When
when
he
he
has
like
the
when she
like
dies, yeah.
and then also like he was putting on a facade that he was just fine and then Thor was like,
Yeah. And
and
you see
then it
the
was
room and
like
he's messed up.
depressed and like yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. I like that scene.
So
Very
I
few
think what
scenes in like Dark World that people like.
yes, I think also that played on something that Owen Wilson said to him like episode 1 or 2, right? It's like you led them one way and you thought they would go to Thor's room. You led
Yeah,
them straight to your mother who they killed. So I think
absolutely.
that definitely affected him, right? So while I don't buy the whole like this Loki because he's not our Loki that we had for 10 plus years, right?
Yeah.
Change that fast. It still would have been jarring to see your future play out like that. And also the other
Yes.
thing is like the thing just to go back to that about him changing too fast is if he saw himself dying and he was still old Loki who had gotten to like the lessons he had when he was with Thor and everybody else, right? It's like why would he just accept that he dies? He'd be like, maybe I should change anything that happens to me now. I'm not gonna accept getting my neck snapped by fucking Thanos.
No, but that's why he's a variant now. So he knows that like on the sacred timeline, that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen to him. But he is him. This is like that whole paradox of like cloning and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
in
No,
was
but
that
what I'm saying is like then why would he accept it? Like that's why like I don't think he would accept it because he's him now, right? He's like, if that's how shit turns out for Loki,
no, that's why
maybe.
he knows that he's not going back to the timeline. He knows
Yeah,
that. So that's why he's trying
yeah,
to take over. the
Yeah.
timekeeper. So he wants to have that power. I want to
Yeah.
see more of that bad stuff. Like I love the emotional good core that he has, especially relating to his mom.
Yeah.
That kind of like the little bit of like lighted side of him, but he's still
Yeah.
that badass Loki, the mischievous, like god of mischief, right? He
Yeah.
should
So I
fuck
think
things
that's
up. He should fuck
no.
things up
So
more.
that's why I'm hoping, going into the last three episodes, like we start to see like what his actual plan is, because I'm gonna be pissed if he doesn't have a real plan. Like, because they made a few jokes about it in the last episode as well, right? Where like,
Yeah, that he has no
you know,
plan. Or
she
his
says
plans
like you
are
don't
kind of
make any
shit.
plans. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that annoys me about Sylvie as well, right? She's starting to feel a bit like Carly Morgenthau, where you keep hearing about this grand plan she has, but there's no detail. So you don't know what the hell is going to happen. And
Oh,
then at the end,
Carly.
and we know what happened to Carly in the end. She just gets shot, and then she ends up, you know, just dead on the side. And
Yep.
you still didn't really see anything from her. So so there's potential for Sylvie to be a long character, especially if she becomes popular, right? But I gotta see what the hell the plan is and what she wants.
Yeah.
So I want to see what Loki's idea is.
Not that smitten by her as well overall, like like the character itself. I was excited for Lady Loki, especially like
Yeah,
after the first episode. They teased like Mephisto and all that, but then at the end it's like, oh, it's a variant. I was like, could be a Lady Loki. I mean, it's not just me. A lot of people are
yeah,
like, could be a Lady
yeah,
Loki. So when she popped
yeah.
out, I was like, huh, wait, it happened exactly like what we expected, and then they revealed it in episode 2. So
Yeah.
that's probably not Lady Loki. And I wasn't like, smitten by her performance overall. I mean, she's a good actress, but I'm like, nah. Let's just go back to Loki then. I just want to see him like fuck things up and then like, be that
I think, I
badass.
mean, yeah, I think the blame lies in the writers for episode 3 when it comes to the Lady Loki character, because when the reveal happened in episode 2, it was cool, it was mysterious, right? But then they just didn't write anything good for her in episode 3. She's just angry, childish kind of
Yeah, it was
emo
just kind of
girl.
like they went for the comedy part like a lot in episode 3. It was like a buddy road trip movie, and it was so out of place of what the whole thing was like building up towards, right? In
Yeah,
like
it's like what,
episode
what was
2.
all this tension, and then suddenly it's
You're like,
okay, you fell to another planet, and now you're a team again.
yeah, it's a little
So
weird. Hopefully the final 3 episodes will be like, yeah, they'll make it like right now. I'm really confused and I don't know where it's going. I still think Wanda's like way superior so far. And I mentioned before as well in our previous subcast, not a big fan of like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So hopefully Loki will be more like Wanda.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we strongly different opinion on Winter Soldier, because I still love the show even for its pitfalls.
Not good.
But
Not good enough.
you're not good enough. You're
I
reading
know
too
I
much
am
into it,
not.
you dork. But with Wanda, I think one, you're right. The 9 episode arc gives you more time. You need more
I
time,
think
I feel.
8 is okay. Like now it's like I
Yeah,
don't know what they're trying to
because
do like
Wanda,
6 episodes.
felt like it started too slow. So eight
It's a little
episodes
too
might have been okay
slow.
for. Winter Soldier was okay. It's just it was a little too fast, because I think the extra episode or two would have helped. Let's see what happens with Loki.
Yeah, well, we'll probably do like a whole team or like our
Yeah,
Sudner
we'll do it with
team.
the rest.
Like
Yeah, with Victoria and Kim and
yes.
everybody as well. So after that,
It's
yeah.
on the 14th, right? The final day. The final day,
Let me look
like
at the
final
calendar.
episode's gonna be on the
Yeah, 14th,
14th of July. So yeah,
and then
looking forward
we'll
to
do
that.
something on the 15th.
15th, no, I'm gonna have my second shot of my vaccination, so I'm gonna be like sleeping in.
Look at this guy doing his vaccines.
I'm old, so I need
Yeah,
my nap.
fair enough. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for the time, Adam. So let's catch up again. Thanks everybody for listening.
Okay.
We'll catch
Thank
you
you
in 3 weeks
guys.
for the next episode. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. See ya.
Cheers.
Sup, nerd.